Hey everybody, for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and that was probably arguably one of the best openings we've had for It's Quest Time, but it can be improved. We're going to have to work on that. All right. Now, let's see. Before we get going, I'm going to ask if you guys can do me a favor and not send me any text messages while I'm up here during the performance, because listen, when you're up here and you're moving around and you get a text message, it's like hitting a wall. It can really throw you off. So if you save those comments until at the end, I'd really appreciate that. Also, you're going to notice that if I could ask you all to stay off of the stage area this way, nobody blocks this big display behind me. And it gives me a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing, right? Now, also, you're going to notice that in your lower right, or actually your lower left, you're going to see your menu wheel there with all those circles, right? And there you're going to see your microphone icon at the very top. Now, when that microphone icon is clear, that means we can hear everything that's happening in your environment. So but we've gone ahead and we've turned that to red, and this means that you mute it. So if somebody comes in your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? Feel free to answer them, because we're not going to hear any of that. Likewise, if you have a barking dog in the background, we're not going to hear that, because, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time. Now, what's quest time about, right? Quest time is an event for Oculus Quest users, and if you're on the device, feel free to hang out. You may pick up some useful information that can help the growing Quest community in Altspace, because we have new Quest users coming in each and every day. Also, listen, just because you're muted does not mean you can't participate. You're going to notice that you have a pink cheeked smiley face in your menu wheel, and when you click on it, your emoji panel will open up in front of you, and it gives you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself, right? So if, for example, I share something really deep and powerful, and it touches you right here, and it starts to just build up, you can just let it out. Just let it flow just like that. Now, maybe I've got some backup dancers backstage, right? And they come out and we break into It's Quest Time, the musical, and you're all very impressed. You can throw up the applause that I live for, and I can take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good. All right, wow, actually, you guys really did that. It did feel good. That's cool. All right, you can say yes or no by saying yes, like with a smiley face, or no with a frowny face if I ask you guys a question, right? Or you can show me that you're laughing if you find something funny. You can do this silly face emoji here. That works out for that. And then there's this thing. This is by far the most distracting of all the emojis, and we're not going to use this to ask questions, because we are going to be taking questions and comments at the end. But if I see this is a way to let me know that there's a problem. All right, because lately there have been some audio issues in Altspace, and my voice suddenly goes choppy. You guys got to let me know that. You got to help me out, right? Help with the show too. This is going to be kind of like our sacred bond. This is going to be, our agreement here, right? So, but if I see one of them go up, I'm probably just going to keep on going, because it might be someone messing around. But if I see 5 of them go up at one time, I know there's a problem that I need to address, right? So, also, if you press the X in the middle of the emoji panel, it's going to close it. But it's a good idea to leave it open during events like this, because it gives me feedback. It lets me know how I'm doing, but more importantly, it lets the person next to you or near you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, right? And you might be like, well, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can do that, because this is VR, right? Just not right here, because as we agreed, you're going to stay off the stage. This is our pact. This is our agreement. Okay, you're going to want to honor that. All right, cool. Awesome. All right, now, before I set out, I'm going to ask you guys some questions so I know what kind of crowd I'm dealing with here. How many of you are actually on a quest right now? Let me see some hearts, or lift your hands up because you can. All right, let me see. How many of you are on Quest right now? Oh, you know what? I'm telling you, I know emojis are great, but I really love that with the hands. Like body language in Altspace, it's just so powerful, right? Look at that. That looks awesome. Everybody with their hands up. I love that, man. That's so cool. All right, how many of you guys are new to the Quest? Let me see some smiley faces or your hands up again if you're new to the Quest. All right, awesome. We got a few new users. How many of you are new to Altspace? You haven't been around Altspace a while. You're kind of a new user. Oh, wow. Look at all your new users. That's awesome. I love seeing that. Well, welcome to Altspace. You guys are going to have a lot of fun in here. It's a good time. Check it out. We got like a professor over there. He's a doctor-looking guy. All right, cool, neat. Nice to see you. Welcome, doctor. And I don't play one on TV, but apparently I have them in the audience. That's cool. All right. So, listen, when I was first waiting for my Quest to arrive, I had been on an Oculus Go. And if you guys don't know this, on an Oculus Go, you have that one controller, right? So I only had that one hand. Now, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm used to talking with my hands a lot. So when I was in Altspace, I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could, because all you'd see is I'd be going like this all the time, right? So I couldn't wait for that other hand to arrive. And when it did, I couldn't wait to start going like this. And when it did come, you know what? I took one look at those controllers, right? I'm like, man, those are a lot of buttons, right? It's a lot to take in. How are you going to keep track of that? It takes a couple of days to like maybe like a week or so to really get used to the controls to a point where you don't think anymore, right? Where it just becomes automatic, right? Because listen, there's gotta come a time, right? And remember this: when the plastic of the controls, you're always going to feel that, but there's going to come a point where these actually become your hands, right? And let's see if we can get you there. Now, if you listen, I know if you're here today, you're already familiar with the basics. The left thumbstick's going to move you around like this, right? I know the right thumbstick's going to turn you in these circles, and when you combine them, you get these big, elaborate circles. Wait, I'm seeing a lot of hands. My voice gone choppy? Is this what's going on? Am I choppy? All right, I'm getting a message today. I'm choppy, all right. Listen, not professional, but I'm going to re-enter the space. Just give me one moment here, and we're going to, if this works out, let's go try this and see how it happens here. Here we go.
Is he doing this?
What? Wow.
Who's talking?
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
Oh.
Yeah, what's going on
There
here?
he is.
Oh, wow. It's quest time. Well, I've heard good things about this event. Yeah, I have. I heard that Michael Forrest is amazing. Hear you? Oh, wait, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. Okay, I'm going up there. All right, here we are. All right, now listen, if you're here today, you're already used to some of the movement stuff, but when you combine these controls like this, you can get these big circles, right, that make my presentation more dramatic. If you guys can do this, I'm going to look out, and it's going to look like you guys are ballroom dancing. Let me see you do that. Go into these big circles just like that. Let me see you guys looking fancy. All right, wow. I gotta put some music on for this. Like get some like classic music going, like some dance, like some kind of Altspace cotillion type thing going on. Listen, I always say I wish you guys could see this. When I look out and I see you guys going in these circles like that, it looks really cool. And it turns out now you can. You're gonna notice floating up in the air, you've got Raven Eye, right? And that's our YouTube camera. So if you want to feel Altspace famous, right, you can turn around and look at the camera and be like, hey YouTube, how's it going? Just wave on out there. Stand on the rug if you want to be seen, right? We got Cat Bomba 122 here. We got Ryan over here, and we've got Magic Show. We've got Clayton over here. We got Hummingbird, and we got Becca, and we got Aprillion. That's a cool name. All right, so there's a lot of people in here, but if you want to come in, and check it out, you really enjoy it. So come on in here, YouTube. This is really great things happening here. All right, now what I'd like to do is I've lost my pointer, so what I'd like to do is actually make another one. For some reason, it doesn't stay when you re-enter the space. It's like a thing. But the first thing we're going to talk about here is, and again, like we are going over some of these controls, and if you're already familiar with the question, don't worry because we're going to do some movement stuff that's going to make it fun. Okay, so make it fun while everybody skills up. All right, the first we're going to talk about is on the right and left controller, this side button. That's a grip button, and you're going to use that to interact with your environment. If you're in the world building beta program, it's going to allow you to build worlds with your own two hands, right? Because now you got the two hands, so you can, right? You can. That's how I'm operating this laser pointer up here, is with that grip button. I'm able to hold on to it. I'm able to switch hands with it. This is how you're going to grab like fireworks, and move things around in the world editor, and these basketballs. All right, so why don't you guys grab onto that, right? Give that a try. I'm going to throw a few of them out here, hopefully I won't drop any because sometimes I do that, right? And just toss those around and kind of get a feel for it, right? Throw this around a little bit. And listen, if you're having a room scale experience and you're standing up, what can happen every now and then is you're going to notice, for some reason, whenever you walk out past your main menu, that's usually about the time somebody tells you, hey, open your main menu. And you're going to be like, where is this thing? And you're going to be like looking all over for it. Where is that menu? Where did it go? And it's like always behind you, right? So, that can get kind of annoying really quick, right? So what you want to do is you're going to notice on your left controller down toward the bottom, you have this flat button. This flat button is your main menu button. You don't ever, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That blue and white triangle button, I don't press that anymore. I don't need to. I just use that button on my controller. It's quick and it's easy. I even do this little hand flick motion whenever I open my menu. You saw that? I just opened my menu. Now I just close my menu. Just like that. You don't have to do that little hand flick motion, but I kind of like doing it. Oh, my menu's still open. There you go. The menu's closed, just like that. You can do that, and it's a really great way to, just open your menu if you lose track of where your main menu is. And it's a great way to bring back your emoji panel, and it's a way to, take care of that. Now, when I first came into Altspace on my Quest, I went to the campfire to try it out, and I noticed I was kind of like up a little bit higher than everybody, right? I noticed all the avatars were like really short. I mean, this is back when avatars had legs, right? And everybody was like, much shorter than me. It turns out that on the Quest, you need to worry about your vertical movement. All right. Like if you move up and down, it's going to reflect that in Altspace. Right. So if you're like, too high or too low, what can happen is you're going to need to recenter yourself so you can feel, a little bit better if you're feeling too tall or too short. Is somebody willing to change your height for me? Come up and stand on this rug here. We got, let's see, Thu is willing to do it. We also got the Dr. Garbage over here. If you press down on your left thumbstick, guys, show everybody what happens when you press down on that left thumbstick like it's a button. Press that, boom, just like that. Thu's got it, right? Now, what happens if you feel too tall or too short? Just press down on that left thumbstick. I see the doctor got it, right? And you just press down on that left thumbstick, you'll snap right into place. It's a great way to adjust your height. But what you got to remember is if you're looking down when you do it, what's going to happen is you're going to pop up a little bit. The movement's actually attached to your head. So if you look straight ahead and then press that button, it's going to cause you to like recenter and make you nice and even if you feel too tall or too short, okay? Now, let's see. Now, another thing you need to keep in mind here is on your right controller here and your left controller, if you have your left pointer enabled, you have this teleport button here and here. Right now, if you guys are willing to try this out with me, come up along this wall here, like kind of form a line along this wall, going that way, right? And hold down that teleport button on your right controller and aim at the floor. And when you do this, you're going to see a teleport target appear on the floor. Don't let go of the button yet. Just look at that circle, aim it around the room a little bit, and now aim it across at the other wall. And as soon as you let go, boom, you get thrown right across the room. Everybody teleport over to me while there's still time. Now, on your left controller, you're going to notice that there on your index finger right here, you got this trigger button, right? Now, if you squeeze that, this is going to cause you to go really fast. So everybody, let's run around the room as fast as you can. Go in a big circle, right? Maybe we can make a hurricane. Maybe we can make it rain. Got a little bit of whirlpool action going on here. Let's see how you're doing. Let's see if you guys can get a purple? Perfect circle. There we go. I don't know why I'm saying purple. Here we go. Let me see. Wow. Okay, you guys are really organized. It usually doesn't look this cool. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, wow. That doesn't really circulate. You guys are doing great. How many of you are dizzy? Raise your hand. Let me see. Anybody dizzy yet? I got one person, two. Yeah, that's good. You guys stop. That's smart. If you stop, you start feeling dizzy, you stop. All right, cool. All right, excellent. Well done. That was good. You guys did great at that. That's awesome. All right, now, when I first came in on my Quest, I was with it for a little while, right? One of the things I noticed, I went to the Universe back then, right? And it was a large world that it was in, right? And, I was just starting to get a handle on the controls. And, at the end of the world, at the end of the event, at the end of the world, oh no, that's bad. At the end of the event, I was, exploring the world. And I walked up to the edge of the world, right? And right to the very edge, and I fell, right? And as I was falling, right, I looked over and there was this cliff. And before I could respawn, because it's not like you can get hurt in all space, I reached out and I aimed my teleporter at the cliff there, and I went boom. And I was thrown to safety, right? Which is really cool because it told me I was starting to get a handle on the controls, and you will too. Like I said before, there's going to come a time where you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands, but there's going to come a time when these become your hands. Like I'm going to tell everybody, look out that window. I don't think about how I'm pointing. I just do it, right? And you can too. All you have to do to make these gestures, if you squeeze your grip buttons, you'll see that your hands going to a point. And you can use this in a variety of ways. You can kind of go like this, right? Give me a Brooklyn hello. Everybody go like this. Like, how you doing? Let me see that. Everybody got to give me some hello. There we go. There we are. That's nice. I love seeing that. Now, another thing you can do, right, is if you put these together just like this, right, you can make the Altspace logo. Now, hold it up nice and high. Show me some, Altspace pride. Higher than that. There we go. Oh, that looks awesome. I love seeing that. That's awesome. Very cool. Got a lot of emphasis coming off of Thu. That was good. I like that. It's very nice. Now, another thing you can do while you're holding these grip buttons is if you hold your trigger buttons like this, right, you'll go into 2 thumbs up. Tell me I'm doing a good job. You're like, yeah, you're doing a good job. Just like that, right? Maybe I'm not. Maybe you give me 2 thumbs down, right? Or maybe you don't know yet. Maybe a little bit of both, right? And lately I've been seeing people do this. I don't know what it means, but it looks cool, right? And if you touch your thumbs to the buttons or the thumbstick without pushing down, your thumbs are going to go down. And you can combine this into like a cool dance move. You can alternate from side to side. Listen, I'm told this doesn't look as cool as it feels, but I don't care because this is how I'm dancing, and I'm going to keep on doing it, right? Another thing you can do, right, is if you, if you hold your grip button down by itself, you can kind of make a picture frame like that, right? How cool would it be? And if you squeeze your index finger, it's like you do in the shutter. How cool would it be to take screenshots like this? I'd love to see that. That's pretty awesome. But the thing of it is listen, when you see somebody doing a gesture that you like, the best way to pick it up is by copying them, mirror what they're doing, and make it your own. Like during one of the first quest times, somebody came up to the stage and they started going like this, right? Sort of like, like a bird, right? And I did it back. And the whole audience started going like this. We had like 60 people in the room all going like this, connected all over the world. And it was just like a really cool experience. So when you see somebody doing something that you like, just mirror the gesture back, right? And you'll pick it up and you'll make it your own. All right, now let's see. What else do we have here? Now, listen, while these are a lot of buttons, it's important to keep in mind that some of these buttons do the same thing. All right, you're going to notice that you have this select button here, this right trigger button, and and on your left control, if you have your left pointer enabled, you also have this select button here, right? These all do the same thing. If you hold down your right trigger right now and move, through the crowd, you're going to notice everybody's name tag appearing above their head. That's how I know everybody's name so quickly. That's how I know that's Thu, and that's Cat Bomba 122, and that's Becca right over here. Everybody say hi to Becca, wave to Becca, right? Hey, it's going Becca, right? So this is how you can pick up the names really quickly, just by holding down that button and just moving that pointer around, and you'll see everyone's names appear above their head. It's super easy. All right, now there's another button you need to be concerned about, right? And don't press it now, because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it right here, real deep, right? And that's on the right controller, you've got this flat button on the bottom. Now, when you press this, you got to think of this like an eject button. This is the best way out of Altspace. Now, if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, you're still on that thing, or maybe they tell you dinner's ready and you're like, oh, gotta go. And you press that flat button, right? You're going to be presented with like a window that comes up and asks you if you want to quit or you want to resume, right? So you can quit, right? And then you'll go out and you'll have your, dinner, whatever, right? Or if you press it by accident, like you're dancing around the universe, you can just press resume and you'll come right back in. Nobody will know you were gone. You're just, keep on going. And this way, Unity won't come up to the edge of the stage, notice you disappear, and she won't destroy you with your awesome admin powers, right? But this button is also great to press when things go wrong. All right. So let's say, like you're moving around and you get you turn your head and all of a sudden the whole world moves with you. That can make you feel really dizzy, especially if you're new to VR. And it pays to know how to respond quickly. You just press on that flat eject button, right? You quit the app and you just restart Altspace. And when you come in, that'll take care of most of the problems that are going to happen in here, right? But occasionally something more serious can happen where, like, if, for example, maybe, I look to my left and there's a black, void on the edge of the screen, right? And I'm like, uh-oh. And I look to my right, I look up and down, and I notice the black void is spreading, and we're all doomed. And all my friends are standing there and all frozen, all dramatic like this, right? I know something's seriously wrong. What do I do now is I go to press that flat eject button and nothing happens, right? What do? I'm like, Michael Forrest, you lied to me. That's not what's going on. Occasionally, you're going to notice that, and not just in Altspace, but your device can sometimes freeze. And when that happens, the best way to deal with that is to restart your headset. Now, in the beginning, when I first got my Quest, what I would do is I would restart the device by taking it off my head. And listen, if you're plugged in and it's not a charge cycle and that light's not lighting up, and it takes a while, it does. It takes a little bit of time to restart your headset. When you do that, right, you can get the feeling like there's something wrong or broken with your headset. So it pays to know how to restart your headset, especially if you're in a rush, while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is you hold your finger, your index finger, and you swipe it on the side of your device on the right side. And you're going to feel that raised up power button there, right? Now take your left index finger and put it on the other side, right? And this will enable you to squeeze them together, right? So that you're pushing the button down. I find it helps to look down and go into a deep concentration pose. Because after about 4 seconds, you concentrate so hard, your avatar disappears and you get plunged into the darkness, but you don't let go. After about 10 seconds, they'll go by and you'll start thinking, I wonder why Oculus made it take so long. Doesn't make any sense. 15 seconds go by and you start thinking, about friends you haven't seen in a while. You wonder how they're doing. 20 seconds go by and you start thinking about life. The big questions, right? And then a few more seconds go by and out of the darkness, the Oculus logo emerges like the bat signal, right? And when it starts to pulse, you just move your fingers away, just like that, right? And your device will start normally and you can come on back in Altspace. And this is going to take care of most of the problems that you're going to have in here and other apps, right? Now, occasionally, something a lot more serious can happen. Like there was one time I came out of Altspace, and there was a message on the screen that said, Oculus Home is closing. I'd never seen that before, and there's this blue button that said, okay. Listen, if that ever happens to you, don't say okay. Go into that deep concentration pose, because when I pressed okay, the screen just said loading, right? And this went on for like 2 minutes. I'm like, what's going on? So I went into my deep concentration pose. I restarted my device, and I come back in, and the screen still said loading. So I asked my good friend Google about it. What do I do? Because Google knows all the things, right? And Google said a lot of people were having this problem. And the best thing I can do is something called a factory reset. And it pays to know that you have this option available because it puts the headset back the way it was the day you got it. The problem with this is if you have any pictures saved on your device, or you're going to lose those, right? Likewise, you're going to have to reinstall all of your apps, right? The good news is you won't have to pay for them again, but you will have to re-download them. Also, if you're going to lose all of your preferences too, like you might even lose your Beat Saber scores. All right, so this is serious business. All right, so if you're losing those Beat Saber scores, that can be devastating because you're gonna have to work to re-earn them and everything like that. So don't only use this in an emergency, but it's good to know that it's there. Okay. Now listen, if you're here today, you are familiar with the Guardian system because, well, you've danced with the robot, you've played with the blimp, you went through all the the tour stuff, and it's a lot of fun, right? But what you may not know is how to use your Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace, and I'm going to show you how. All right, but I like to say before you mess around with your Guardian system, it pays to move around when you move around your space. Lead with your hands, especially if you're new to VR, because you don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to damage your device. There's a lot of times in Altspace you'll see somebody walking along and they're having a good day, then all of a sudden, bam, they hit a wall, right? That's going to ruin your day. You don't want to do that, right? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lead with your hands. And when you get up to the edge, like if I walk up to my real world wall right now, okay? And because listen, if you get dizzy in VR, if you're new to VR, one of the things you can do is hold your hand up to your face like this and just focus on your hand till the dizziness passes. And when it does, slowly take your hand away and take in the world around you, right? That's going to help with that. Another thing that can help is you can use your Guardian system for this purpose. If I walk up to my real world wall right now, right? I'm walking up to my real world wall. I got my hands out. Like I told you, you lead with the hands. And as soon as I get close, that grid appears in the air in front of me. Now, the thing is, I can still touch my thumbsticks, right? And as such, I can move my avatar around in VR while I'm standing still in the real world, right? So what I can do is I can go up to this display here and I can kind of anchor myself to the real world, right? Line this up with my real world wall. And once I'm connected to the real world, this is going to actually affect my balance. So as I back up to take it in, well, no, I've fallen off the stage. I'm in the audience. Now, let's say you guys aren't a nice audience, right? Why don't you guys just mess with me? Stick your hands in my face and try to make me as dizzy as you can. And I'm just going to look at that display here while you guys do that. Go ahead, just mess me up. That's all you got? I can still see the display. You're not even trying. Really, seriously. Normally at this point, I'm like kind of struggling maybe to, make sure I don't make any mistakes or anything, but you guys are being really super. I can still see the display, guys. I can still see it. It's huge. All right. Now, listen, what you can do also, you don't need something this big to connect you to the real world, right? You can use something like the edge of the stage here and line this up with a desk or a table that you have in your real world environment. Right? And this is going to make you feel a lot more stable, especially if you're new to VR, okay? Now, also, you can transition in Altspace from a standing experience to a, actually, you know what? I forgot to show you guys. Right, when I was going through all the movement stuff, did you guys know you could teleport backwards? I just did that, right? One time I got come in the audience a lot. You guys may have noticed that. You hold down your teleport button, right, and you put it over your head like that. Boom, you teleport backwards. So that's good to know. All right, it's just kind of fun. You can just teleport backwards. It's kind of neat. I see you guys doing it. All right, cool. All right, one thing you can do in Altspace is you can transition from a room scale experience to a stationary experience pretty effortlessly, right? And the way you do this is like, let's say, listen, I've hosted I'm coming up with 350 events in Altspace, and I'm tired. I'm really tired. This is my second one today, in fact, and I'm exhausted. I got to sit down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to the edge of my play space with my hands out like I showed you. And when I see that grid up here, I got enough room for my head to pass through it, right? So I'll stick my head through and that pass-through camera goes off so I can see the real world. Now there's a new feature under the experimental options where you can do this double tap thing. You just tap the side of your headset on either side, right? See some nods. Some of you guys have tried this. It's awesome. It's like tap, tap. There's the real world. And there's my coffee. So I can grab a sip of my coffee, right? Throw it down because I'm a rebel like that, right? And then all of a sudden, I can look over there and I see I've got my chair there and I can go over there and I can go sit in it, right? And when I go sit in it, I've got this blue button there asking if I want to have a stationary experience. Now, when I press on that blue button, right, I'm going to find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace, all right? So you can be comfortable by doing it. This works in the other direction, too. There was one time I was moderating an event, right? And I felt like getting up and walking around. And I thought, I'm just going to get up and step into my Guardian because that's usually the way it works, right? But for some reason, sometimes the Quest can lose your Guardian, usually changing light levels, or for one reason or another, it can't resolve where it is in your space, and it wants you to draw another boundary. No big deal, right? When there's 2 minutes left in the event, it's a very big deal, right? So, I start drawing out that boundary again, and as I'm drawing that, I'm wondering things like, why is my play space so big? I don't understand. And of all the times I had to moderate for an admin, why did it have to be today? And as soon as I close that loop there, the grid comes up out of the ground, and I find not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. Right now, you guys can travel in both directions and whatever makes you comfortable. The only difference is going to be is if you sit down in a chair or something, your vertical height's going to change, right? So you don't forget to press down that left thumbstick to recenter yourself so you'll be at the right height so you'll be comfortable, right? All right, so do that and take care of that. Now, this next thing I'm going to show you, listen, this is not useful information. This is just cool, all right? What you're going to do is if you go up to the edge of your Guardian system, right, when you there's a point where, you look through it, make sure you got enough room for your head to go through, so you stick your hands out, right? When you stick your head through that pass-through camera, when it goes off, right, if you do this slowly enough, there's a sweet spot where you can see both worlds at the same time. You'll see VR and the real world, right? I see somebody nodding there. Somebody's tried that, right? If you do this really slow, right, you're going to notice that you're going to notice a scale of Altspace avatars in your real world environment. Altspace avatars are about 6 feet tall, and they're a lot wider than you would think. And you can really, you can't tell it here, but when you see them like in your living room or in your office or wherever you VR from, it really, get a real sense of the size of everything in here, right? It can really, it's a really interesting experience. Can't recommend trying that enough. Now, listen, the great thing about the Quest is it just pretty much works, right? But that doesn't mean it can't work better. There's a lot of accessories that can really improve the experience. Like, those earbuds that hang down from the sides that kind of dangle off the side of your headsets. I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but I like to think I look fancy when I'm wearing these things. They're like VR earrings, right? And the first time I tried them, I wasn't expecting much because the sound on the Quest is so great. But I went to the campfire to test them out, right? And well, I first time, I've been in Altspace for like a year and a half, and I heard a breeze in the campfire. No one ever told me there was a breeze there. I went over to that fence and I heard the water rushing, and I had never heard of that either. Nobody told me this stuff. And it turns out there's a lot of rich, ambient sound in Altspace that can really make the experience more immersive. It can really draw you into the experience. It's definitely worth checking out. Also, listen, there is a lot of people that say the Quest is uncomfortable. And in the beginning, I was one of them because I got that like a sore on my forehead when I first started using it. And, Oculus doesn't do a good job of, notifying people that there is a breaking in period that goes on when you first get your device, right? It takes about a couple of weeks or so And what happens is the oils in your face will actually soften the insert, right? And it makes it more comfortable, and the tension on the springs will change, and this will affect the balance of the device. But the problem is, a lot of people will, not knowing this, right? When they first get their Quest, they're like, this is uncomfortable. I have to fix it. And they're going to get external battery packs, and they're going to get counterbalance weights and all these cool accessories to improve the balance. But you know what? After a couple of weeks, when the device is broken in, the balance is going to be thrown off again. And some of these people are going to be like, well, that's just not comfortable. All right. And what happens is, I've known some people that actually return their device because of this. Right. So what you want to do is give it a couple of weeks to fully break in before you go to modify it. Because if after a couple of weeks you still find it uncomfortable, that's the time to try all this stuff. Right. You can get a counterbalance weight, external battery packs. And up here, you'll see that we have this inserts from VR cover. And man, it's like your face is in a pillow. It's awesome. And there's like 2 of them so that you can wash one while the other one's in use. So it really helps with the hygiene stuff. Right. You keep your device nice and clean, take good care of it. Right. Also, you speak of taking care of your device. We've got these prescription inserts. Right. This is great if you wear eyeglasses. Because listen, if you scratch your eyeglasses and you scratch your VR headset, right, that can get pretty expensive. You don't want to do that, and this is a great preventive measure that you can take. And the box that the Quest comes in is awesome, for protecting it and keeping it out of sunlight, and keeping it safe. But if you move around, travel a little bit, you can't go wrong with one of these, travel cases here. But please bear in mind, because like if something happens to your device, it's not going to be like losing your toaster. If you're coming into Altspace every day and you've made friends in here, what's going to happen is losing this, you're going to experience it as an actual loss. So take good care of your equipment. And if you'd like to try any of these products, you can find it by going to altvr.com. And in the upper left, you're going to see a link that says channels, right? And when you press on channels, you're going to see all these great Altspace event channels. And down toward the bottom, you're going to see Ravenhall events. Not that being on the bottom means anything. They tell me it doesn't mean anything, but that's where we are. And if you press on Ravenhall events, you get taken to our event page. And on our event page, you're going to see all these products listed on the left-hand side if you want to try any. You're also going to see a join Discord button. And when you press that join Discord button, right, you can be taken to our Discord and you can ask us questions and say hello and stuff like that. Help us put on events like this. You'll also see in the upper right the most important button on the internet. It's true. That's where they keep it. That's where they keep the thing. It's called the subscribe button. And when you press the subscribe button, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content, right? It also makes us feel good. We don't get paid to do this, right? So every time we see that number go up, it makes us feel good. Nothing makes us feel better when those YouTube subscribers go up, right? That's like the best. And if you are watching out on YouTube and you want to try any of these products, you're going to find links in the description below. So check that out. Now, we are going to be taking your questions or your comments. And the way we do this is you're going to see in your lower right a raise hand button appear as if by magic. It's true. That's what magic looks like in VR. And if you just press that raise hand button, you're going to get on my list. I'm going to get to feel like a radio announcer. And while we wait for that list to fill up there, if you want to find us on Twitter, you can find us at _ Uncanny Valley. I know it looks like 1 underscore, but it is actually 2. All right, let's see. Who do we have here on our list? We've got, nobody. Everybody just disappeared. There was somebody there, and they just went away. Okay, cool. Wait, none of you have any questions or comments? Well, okay. Well, I must have been really thorough today, or the panel's not working. Oh, here we go. We got Tyler. Tyler, do you have a question? What's going on, Tyler? Tyler Gink, something like that. Can't see the full name. Where are you, Tyler? Not seeing you. Okay, I'm trying to go. You're disappeared entirely. Okay, how about you, Becca? Becca, you're on the air, and I feel like a radio host. Where are you, Becca? There you are. How's it going? You have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
What's up?
Is it possible to change your username in Altspace?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Actually, all right, there's 2 parts on your display on your name tag. The top part's your display name. That's super easy to change. You go to altvr.com and you go up to the upper right and you'll see your profile there. And you can change that right there, and that change will take place immediately. If you want to change the name on the bottom, your username, that's going to take a couple of business days. And the way you're going to do that is by going to altvr.com/support and just tell them that you'd like to change your username and tell them what you want your new username to be. And a couple of days, as if by magic, your username will be changed forever. And it'll be all shiny, and there you go. So, there you go. So, that's the way you do that. All right. We also see Yoro Mikey. Yoro, what's going on? How are you doing today? Nice to see you again. What's going on? Where are you at, Yoro? I don't see you.
I'm a bit confused. I thought this was about how to do quests.
Okay, how to do quests. Well, it could be, now that you got the movements down, you can go on a quest. As a matter of fact, we're going to take everybody out to the Ravenhall Flight Academy now. Now, normally at the end of our events, what we have is a button on the wall. And that button, right, when we press that, a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft flies in to take us all out. It's not working right now. It's going to be back next week. So if you haven't seen this yet, come back and check it out. It's a really cool transition effect. But in the meantime, what we're going to do, right, is I'm going to invite all of you up onto the stage, right? And what we're going to do is you guys come up here and we're going to head on out by going back here behind stage into this blue light, right? Once we go into that blue light, we'll head on out to Ravenhall Flight Academy, and you can fly some ships around. I'll teach you to fly if you haven't learned how to do so yet. So come on in there and listen. If you've learned anything here today, please share it with all those you come in contact with. Like, if you're walking around Altspace and you see somebody down in the ground, you're like, "What's wrong, little buddy?" And they're like, "I'm stuck in the ground," right? Well, tell them to press down that left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because you help somebody, and that's how we keep this thing going, right? All right, everybody, let's head on out of here. All right, we're gonna go with the blue light now. Let's go on, everybody. Let's head on out, everybody. Come on, everybody. Let's go in this blue light. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time.